Dear colleagues, greetings. We continue our weekend day. We'll speak about news from special SMM OSCE. We'll have Alexander Haag, Deputy Head of the Mission of OSCE in Ukraine. The briefing will be in English, so if you need headsets, we have them in the end of the hall.
Hello and good afternoon. Thank you for joining me at this briefing at the Ukrainian Crisis Center. I'm here today to update you on the latest developments of events in Ukraine as we have seen them. This was observed by the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission in the course of the past week when I last was briefing you. The OSCE Special Monitoring Mission continue to monitor the implementation of the package of measures for the implementation of the Minsk agreements. Shirokine continued to be the main flashpoint. Fighting continued in and around the village, mainly at dark hours, with only temporary lulls. The situation at the Donetsk airport remained highly volatile. The number of ceasefire violations exceeded hundreds on a daily basis. Notably, new hotspots seem to emerge north of the city of Donetsk. One of them is the DPR-controlled Horlivka. Tensions remained high in the areas of Avdiivka and Pisky. Grade P portable rocket systems were spotted near the so-called DPR-controlled Samsonovne. This highly mobile weapon system was previously seen by Ukrainian military analysts in the so-called LPR-controlled areas, and now near the contact line in so-called DPR-controlled areas. This sighting by the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission was done through its unmanned aerial vehicles that it deployed in the southern part of the Donetsk Oblast. The Luhansk region remained relatively calm compared with the amount of fighting in the Donetsk Oblast. Only minor outbreaks of violence were registered by the mission along the contact line, in particular in the area of the Stanica-Luhanska bridge. Despite this relative calm in that part, on 10th of May, an OSCE Special Monitoring Mission patrol came under machine gun fire near the government-controlled village of Krymske in the Luhansk Oblast. A meeting with the nearby Ukrainian Armed Forces commander followed. He told the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission patrol that one of his soldiers opened fire on the patrol. The commander apologized and promised full security for the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission. Despite concerns of possible provocations, the commemoration events of 9th of May went peacefully throughout Ukraine, though the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission observed that heavy weapons were displayed in several locations, and these were the following. At the parade in so-called DPR-controlled Donetsk city, the mission observed 21 pieces of heavy weapons paraded in the city, among them main battle tanks, towed and self-propelled artillery and Grad systems. In Luhansk city, the so-called Luhansk People's Republic displayed self-propelled howitzers, towed artillery, tanks, multiple launch rocket systems, and anti-aircraft systems. It was similar in government-controlled Severodonetsk. Here, the mission observed heavy weapons displayed in the city center. This included Smerch, Grad, and other cannons, as well as one anti-aircraft missile. Yet, back on 10th of April, in a letter to the signatories of the Minsk arrangements, the Chief Monitor, Ambassador Apakan, stated that the presence of heavy weapons in proscribed areas for training or military parades is a violation of the Minsk agreements. We report them as such, no matter on which side of the contact line they occur. Considering military parades, the mission noted the absence of many weapons from their holding areas behind the withdrawal lines. Furthermore, access on a number of these sites were denied. Although to a lesser degree, the mission continued to experience restrictions to its freedom of movement. This goes both for non-government controlled and government-controlled areas. I would like to remind the following. The Security Working Group, inaugurated on May 6th in Minsk, is to meet again on 19th of May. The participants of the working group agreed that this preferably happens in Ukraine. The two documents should be finalized by the time are the one on the withdrawal of tanks and weapons below the diameter of 100 millimeter and a document on disengagement in Shirokina. The working group on security is coordinated by Ambassador Apakan, the chief monitor of the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission. Another thing I would like to mention here. On Wednesday this week, the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission presented a new thematic report. It is titled "The Protection of Civilians and Their Freedom of Movement in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions." This is our report on the implementation of the temporary order on control of movement. According to the mission's observations, the permit system that comes with its limits has also limited the ability of civilians to leave the conflict zone. I would like to highlight that this is the 5th thematic report issued and publicized by the mission. You can find the report in English, Russian and Ukrainian languages on our website. Starting yesterday, the chief monitor, Ambassador Apakan, is visiting the eastern part of the country. He has been stopping yesterday in Kramatorsk to visit our team there and then passed today through Severodonetsk back to Kiev. The purpose of the 2-day trip is to assess the general security situation, meet with internally displaced persons and minority groups, and to consult with government officials and, of course, our teams in the area. On Thursday, Ambassador Apakan attended the Eastern Ukraine Forum on Reconstruction through Dialogue in Kramatorsk, organized by the OSCE project coordinator in Ukraine. Lastly, as usual, at the end of my briefing, I would like to update you on our numbers and mission strength. This week, the mission held induction training for 14 additional monitors. This now brings the number of monitors this week in total to 469. 2/3 of them are based in eastern Ukraine. With our national and international staff, this brings the total mission strength to 750 mission members. This was it for today. Thank you for your attention, and I'm available to question if you have them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hug. Are there any questions from journalists or clarifications? Є. Якщо є питання або уточнення, якщо немає, то
If not, thank you very much.
see you next week. Наш наступний брифінг о 13:00.